This is the Chefpreneur Podcast, where we inspire professional cooks to take on greater risk to build a personal chef business for themselves. Now, here's your host, Andres Hinojosa.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Chefpreneur Podcast. I am your host, Andres Hinojosa. Thank you so much for tuning in today. As all of our podcasts, we like to start off with a question from all of you. And this question comes from our Chefpreneur Movement Facebook group, and it comes from Emily. It looks like Emily was a pastry chef years ago. She trained as one, and she just found that restaurant kitchens were not for her, and I completely understand where she's coming from. A lot of you have been in the industry and just know that the kitchens, the kind of professional kitchen space, is not for you. It tends to be a lot of stress. There tends to be a lot of politics, and it's just sometimes it can be very overwhelming. But her direct question was, does anyone here in this group offer mostly pastry-related services, such as in-home baking classes, pop-ups? She's really curious to know your offers and business models. So I wanted to just kind of come in and answer my opinion and kind of give you some insight, Emily. And that's a great question because so many of you have different skills and talents and passions, and a lot of you have a lot of skills and passion in the pastry world. One of the things that I've noticed is I like how you did say the in-home baking classes, and I think that there's something there with that. I think that there's many different types of cooking classes that people can do, and you can structure the business accordingly. But in-home baking classes are actually really cool because I feel that with Pinterest and with the rise of social media, basically in the last 10 years, a lot of people like to do stuff at home. They like to do a lot of DIY stuff. And so I think in-home baking classes would be a great niche and a great market to get into. I've also seen in some higher end areas such as New York, I know LA's done a couple where people will actually do a dessert tasting menu. And so literally those types of things can be done possibly for some higher end events, like even if it's a baby shower or some sort of an engagement party, a really cool like kind of pastry or a dessert tasting menu might be something that you could look at, maybe 3 or 4 courses of dessert. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but you can actually come on the coattails of maybe some of the services, or even if another caterer comes in and does it, you could definitely get in and do kind of a tasting menu for them. And the way I would model any business, Emily, is I would definitely model it after what I teach, which is a price per person plus the cost of the groceries or the items that you purchase. This way you feel like you know exactly what you're getting into. You'll know your profit from the get-go. I wouldn't include everything in there. And honestly, because most pastries have basically a low grocery cost, it's going to be really attractive to clients to say, hey, you know what, if we do an in-home baking class, it's going to be, this price per person, and then the whole group as a whole will divide up the grocery cost per person, and then you'll feel like, they'll feel like they're getting, no offense, kind of a deal, but you'll walk away knowing exactly what to charge. And so I personally think for anyone's business, no matter if you're doing it more pastry related or if you're doing it as a personal chef doing the savory food, you should always be charging a price per person plus the cost of groceries. So thank you so much, Emily, for your question and for just coming into the group and sharing some insight with all of us. And I'm really glad that you're tapping into the Chefpreneur Movement group. If you guys are not in the Chefpreneur Facebook Movement group, I highly recommend you joining. If you just go into Facebook and you search the Chefpreneur Movement, you'll see the group. It's 100% free to join. We will ask you a few questions to enter into the group because it is a private group, but it is open to the public and it's free, and it's really for like-minded people such as Emily to want to become part of a community that actually is going to bounce ideas off of each other. And we're hyper-focused on people who want to start their own personal chef business and kind of be their own boss and start working for themselves. So thank you again, Emily, and thank you guys for always sending in your questions. I love answering them on the podcast. So now we're going to hop in right into today's topic, which is how to find the right clients. And what I mean by that is I wanted to just kind of emphasize the right clients. We've talked on this podcast many a times about messaging. We've talked about branding. We've talked about really how to put yourself out there, that the messaging is the most important. But not only the messaging plays a role, but the entirety of you finding your niche and what you want to be known for in order to find the right clients. And what I mean by the right clients is the people who are actually looking for your services. So many times I've come across many chefs and cooks that have started their own business and they're like, "Chef, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I feel like I'm not finding the right people. I get 10 calls a month, but I feel like only 2 or 3 of them book with me." And now here's what I'm going to start to tell you guys, like we've said on this podcast before. Everything from the point of action that they, the very first thing that they notice about your brand or that they read about you, whether it's on Yelp, whether it's on your website, whether it's on a blog site, whether it's on Thumbtack, it has to resonate with the right clients and what they're looking for. I was just explaining this to someone the other day that if you're going through Facebook, and let's say you're in the market to buy a pickup truck, right? Let's say you just want to buy a pickup truck for work or whatever you want to, you need a pickup truck for, and you're scrolling through Facebook and there's a deal on compact cars, right? And it's this whole, $3,000 rebate on the new whatever, compact car. You're probably not going to click on that ad because you're in the market for a pickup truck. You're not in the market for a compact car. It's kind of the exact opposite of what you're looking for. And a lot of people might think, well, I didn't get very many clicks on that ad. But the people that really are looking for a compact car probably will click on that ad, and those are the right people that you want to click on the ad. And so going back to your own personal chef business or your own business in general, you're wanting to find the right clients. And the first part of that is putting out the right message. Now, you might be asking, well, what do I know what message to put out? Well, first of all, you have to find out what you want to be known for. We've talked about this on the podcast about your niche, and you have to figure out the niche that you want to target. Once you feel like you have that niche and you know who you want to target, then it's a lot easier to target them. It's a lot easier to put yourself out there and put yourself in front of them. Again, you're not always going to get 100% of the right people come through your business all the time. I mean, let's just face it, right? If you have a retail store in a mall, right, you're probably having a lot of people walk by that store. A lot of people will not walk in. There also will be a lot of people that walk in just to, I've never seen this store, and they'll walk in just to look around, but they're not really the right person, and so they don't buy anything. They're not looking for whatever the clothing brand may be or the style that the store sells, so they'll walk right back out. So you will get people that will contact you that will not be the right clients. But your messaging will start to really weed out a good chunk of people to say, hey, you know what? Are the right people actually contacting me? Because 9 times out of 10, when I talk to a lot of future chefpreneurs, a lot of the chefs and cooks that are in my masterclass right now have told me, I feel like I get enough inquiries, or I feel like I get, a decent amount of leads, but I feel like I'm not closing the deal. And I always tell them it's probably of one of two things, right? Number one, it's your messaging is wrong. Like I'm telling all of you right now that the people are contacting you, but they're not really contacting you, and you're not able to possibly provide them exactly what you're all about. So they're not going to end up booking you, right? It might be something completely different. Your strengths might be something that they're not really interested in, but because your messaging doesn't reflect that, they can't figure that out. So they're going to contact you to find out more information, right? And then the second reason of why some of you maybe are getting enough inquiries, but you're not sealing the deal, is that your sales process is wrong. And we just posted a great article in our Facebook movement group, that I think was great. And it was really all about processes in your business. And no matter how big or small your business is, right, all of us as personal chefs are pretty much solopreneurs. And we still need processes in our business. We need something to follow to keep us on track and have something that's consistent for every single client. And I teach in my masterclass the exact 12-step process I use to basically book a client. But a lot of it has to do with messaging, and it has to even to do with messaging messaging over the phone and where you're talking to the client, you're in a sales mode, but you're selling them on what they're looking for, not what you're all about, but what they're looking for. And I believe all these different filters, I guess you would say, funnel the right client to your doorstep. Okay, so let me give you another example very specifically about a personal chef. Let's say that you're a personal chef that you're focused on sushi. Okay. And let's say there's a client that's looking to lose weight and they're looking for a personal chef that focuses on, veganism, right? So they're looking for a vegan chef. Well, if they go to the website and the website screams that you're a personal chef that's all about sushi, the vegan client is definitely not going to even go further. They're going to see your website and they're going to leave and they're not going to contact you. And it's not a mislead because you don't offer what they're looking for. It's as simple as that. And I think too many of us, we get so hyper focused on, oh my gosh, how many leads am I getting? How many inquiries am I getting? How come nobody is biting? I'll say this again. In the mall scenario I just gave you, when a lot of people walk in and don't buy, your sales team, I guess you would say, the people on a floor in a retail market. So let's say it's like, I don't know, let's just say it's the Gap, right? And someone who walks in the Gap and they're not looking for that style of clothing, and so they'll walk back out. But if all the people in the store are not looking for clothes like the Gap offers, it's kind of like a waste of time for your staff and the sales team on the floor in the Gap store to even spend time with these people because they're not going to buy because that's not what they're looking for. Now, on the other side of it is obviously you see clothing being displayed in the front. So let's just say that there's no clothing displayed in the front. You have to walk in the store to see it. That's where messaging comes in. Bad messaging on your website is kind of like you don't have anything on the storefront to show them what you're all about. Right? And it's not about the food pictures, it's about the messaging. So if someone who goes to your website and looks at, what you're all about, and it doesn't speak anything. So let's go back to the sushi example. If the chef is all focused on sushi, but you go to the website and it just says personal chef services, and it shows a picture of him or her, plating up a dish, and it's not sushi, you don't know what this personal chef offers. You're thinking, well, this is a personal chef. I'm going to see if maybe they can help me. But because it's not clearly speaking to them, they're still in a gray area. There's no focus on it, right? But if it goes to the website and it says, personal chef services specializing in sushi dinner parties, well, that vegan client prospect is not going to contact that chef. And that's a good thing. It's going to waste their time. It's going to waste your time. And you're probably not going to close that sale because that's not what they're looking for. So you have to understand that I would much rather have 3, 4, 5 good leads where they're the right clients every single month than having 30 kind of wish-washy, warm clients that they're contacting me, but I'm not offering what they're looking for. And so again, not only with the messaging, but it really relates back to what do you want to be known for? Really, what do you want to offer and put out there in the marketplace? It's really important to find the niche that you want to work in because, again, we've talked about it so many times that if you're just an everything chef and, I can cook anything well, right? I could cook everything. I could cook vegan. I can cook this. I can cook that. You know what? Us as chefs and cooks, there's probably a lot that we can do. But again, is it our bests? Is it our best skills? Is it what we really enjoy doing? I was just speaking with a good friend of mine, Kate, yesterday, and she's going through kind of a career change, and she's looking at different prospects. And one thing that she possesses that is out of this world is her interpersonal skills. She is amazing with people. And to be honest with you, I think that it's an undervalued skill. On the outside, people undervalue it. Like, what do you know about marketing? Or what do you know about computers? Or do you have a bachelor's degree in economics? And it's like, all that stuff is good. Don't get me wrong. All that stuff, a highly educated person knows a lot. But without people skills, you can't even convey a message. Without communication skills, you can't convey what you want to convey to anybody, whether it's in your own business, whether it's in your personal life, whether it's how you influence people, how you influence your friends, how you motivate them, how do you inspire them. And for me, the biggest thing is I told her, I said, you know what? The fact that you have people skills is really already the foundational, like solid foundation you need to even do anything and to accomplish anything worthwhile. And she was like, well, I know I'm really good with people, but like, how do I transform that to monetize that? How do I make that into something that is either producing me an income or makes me more valuable in the marketplace? And I'm thinking to myself, well, if an organization can't see that you have amazing people skills, okay, I would much rather have someone with high levels of people skills and social skills, because the other skills can be taught. And so, like I said, a lot of us can do many things well, but when I was speaking to her, I told her, you need to focus on what you want to do, what's going to be the most fulfilling for you to do, because you already have the foundation of being able to communicate and work well with people and love on people and serve people. And that is a skill in itself, but that's really like, it's hard for people to learn that sometimes. I also recently cooked for a client who literally his husband was, I think it was, he was like a double master's degree from Harvard and had a PhD from MIT. This guy was literally coined a genius. He graduated Harvard at the age of 19 years old with his first master's, and all those two masters and the PhD he got were both by the time he was 26, which blew my mind. But if I can be very honest and straightforward, nothing wrong with this, but the entire event, it was two gentlemen. They were dating. I believe it was his husband. I apologize. And like I said, one of them was super quiet and reserved, and that was the one with the 2 master's degree and a PhD. You could tell he was uncomfortable in a social situation. The whole family was there. It was like 14 of them total with kids and everything else. And then the other gentleman was a talker. He was laughing. He was making jokes. He was coming in the kitchen with me. He was giving me high fives. He was very, very lively, and you could tell he had great social skills. And he was very successful himself in marketing, but he was not the brains just like the other gentleman was, right? And you can see that how well they worked together. I mean, because one is very outgoing and very social, and the other one was more, I would say, I guess, more brains, right? He was very, very intelligent. He was literally dubbed a genius when he was young. And so the whole point I'm trying to get at is our niche is really what we're passionate about. And in order to be successful, you have to find out what that really is. Because if you don't even know the message to convey clients, the second part of that is that you really need to understand how to communicate that with clients, not only in your messaging, but you personally. How do you convey that message? And you have to sell yourself that way all the time. And it's part of finding the right clientele. Because really, clients are only going to buy from you. They're only going to hire you if they really feel like you got the goods that they are looking for. Like I said before, if someone's looking for a sushi experience as a personal chef service and they go to that website of him or her that I'm discussing, I'm kind of just making just an example, they're probably going to then click on the contact button or the book now button, and they're going to reach out to that chef because they're like, oh my gosh, we're looking for a personal chef to come and do amazing sushi in the home. And this is exactly what this website is telling me this chef does, period. Easy. It's not rocket science. And I think we overcomplicate it so much. And again, the other side of it is that messaging continues into the sales process. And as you boil it down, you will end up finding the right clientele. My team is such an amazing team. I have the most amazing small team in Dinner with a Chef, my personal chef business. And I can't even speak more highly than there's just no words. I'm just so blessed and thankful that I have this beautiful team that just works really cohesively together, and we're all about servitude. And what's funny is a lot of times they'll ask me like, Chef, how come all the clients we serve, they have like the same characteristics? There's the same common denominator. And I'm like, well, because I am attracting the right clientele for the business that we're all about. We're about creating experiences. We're about giving them memories that they can take, memories that they create with their families, their friends, their loved ones. And I tell my team all the time, like, it's because they feel that from our messaging. They feel that from me over the phone when I'm on the sales call. They feel that when we all arrive as a team. It's always consistent. So that message, that niche, what we're all about is very consistent throughout the entire process. Not just when we get to the home, but far beyond that. From my Yelp profile, from my Thumbtack profile, from my website, from everything that I say on the phone before I even meet the client in person, it all aligns with that messaging. And that's really how you find the right clientele. Right now, we're actually on the verge of raising our prices in my personal chef business because I'm trying to now filter even more who the people that are really going to appreciate the level of service that we give. And I'm not saying that we're giving a level of service that's not worth more money or that, that we're just trying to make it harder for people to book us. No, we actually want to increase. Anytime that we increase our prices, we want to increase our service and we want to increase the value that's added to the client as well. So it will put even more pressure on us to make sure that we're hitting those standards. But I do believe that we're going to end up finding even more of the right client at that point. We're going to be able to really understand, hey, you know what? This person really wants to hire us. They're very serious. They're paying top dollar, and we're able to just give them the best possible experience we can give them without having anything held back. And we don't feel like we're stifling our own ability to just give them the best possible service possible. So we are going to be raising our prices here in the near future. In fact, probably at the beginning of next month. And so I'm just embracing that, and we're going to see what happens. We're going to see if we're going to continue to get as many bookings. But if we don't, it's just filtering more of the right clients our way. Because think about it, when you have the right clients, then you're serving the right person. That means that you guys are like a match made in heaven, right? It means that you guys are paired well, meaning that you have what they're looking for, and they have basically the standards that you're looking for in a client, and they're going to appreciate what you put out. So I hope that really helps you guys kind of define how to find the right clients. It really boils down to really putting out the right messaging, and that stems 100% from what you want to be known for and what you are all about. So I hope you guys enjoyed that podcast. Hey, again, we're here to motivate, educate, and inspire any chefs or cooks to take a stand for their personal freedom by breaking the chains of a kitchen job and building their own empire. We truly believe here at the Chefpreneur Podcast that the future is yours and you can put it into your own hands. Hey, we're still giving away our free web class entitled How to Start a Personal Chef Business for $500 or less. You can go to the chefpreneurwebinar.com. That's the chef, PRENEUR, webinar.com to sign up for that free web class. Also, make sure that you subscribe to us on our YouTube channel. If you just go to YouTube, type in Chefpreneur, you'll see our channel, subscribe to it, and also make sure you click to get all of the notifications when all of our new podcasts are put on YouTube. We like you to get those notifications so you can be the first ones to hear it. Also, again, find us on Facebook, search the Chefpreneur Movement Facebook group. Again, go to Facebook, search the Chefpreneur Movement. You'll see the group. Like I said before, it's 110% free to join. You just have to answer a few questions. We'll let you in, and you'll be with other like-minded chefs and cooks. So with that being said, thank you guys again for tuning in this week. I'm just so pleased with how many people are getting valuable information through this podcast. It's really fulfilling and humbling for me to see so many of you guys tuning in and listening. I really appreciate every single person that supports this podcast. I can't wait to speak to you guys next week, which this coming week, I'm having my 5th child. So we're going to be in the hospital, but we're going to be having our podcast released as well still next week. So thank you guys all so much again for your support, and we hope you have a great rest of your week. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Chefpreneur Podcast, where we want to educate, motivate, and inspire as many chefs to become their own boss. Please subscribe to the podcast and join us every week to be part of the movement. To sign up for our free online web class, visit thechefpreneurwebinar.com.